Recording. So I still don't know how to set the Zoom up in such a way that I don't have to press every time to make people come in from the waiting room, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to sit and click while I'm talking, which is extremely distracting for me. But I'm just not technical, so it will be the way it is. And I'm recording now. Okay, good. So welcome to Sunday live event. I almost called it satsang. I don't call it satsang because I don't know why. It's just satsang is an Sanskrit word meaning where you meet people gathering together in the pursuit of uncovering the truth. The truth of what? The truth of your being and truth of who you are. That's satsang in Sanskrit. And so I'm used to, from my background, to go to satsangs. I always attended satsangs my whole life, or my adult life. And so that's why it's very often I almost call this a satsang, but I don't want to make this too Indian, too Sanskrit, to all that stuff. So I just call it Dharma Portal Live Event. It's also much less exotic. So Betsy says, on my beamer, won't reply, tick done, 10 minutes or so, Betsy. Okay, I don't understand anything what you just wrote there. On my beamer, won't reply, tick done, 10 minutes or so. On my beamer. I don't know what that means. Oh, wait a minute. A beamer is like a machine, right? For health and healing. And you won't be replying until done for 10 minutes or so, Betsy. Okay, now I get it. I think I decoded your message. Okay. Oh, I'm ascending. You saw that? I just got out of focus. Okay. Anyways, I came back. So today's topic is going to be about my near-death experiences, but I want to segue into, I want to touch upon it, but then segue into why it matters for you, and also what's going on in the world right now, and try to connect it all and put it all together. Try to build a bridge between all these things. And I honestly don't like to talk about myself. I don't know, some of you know this already because you've been here for some time. But I always find many times in life, the best way you can communicate a message is to share from your own direct experiences. And so that happens quite often, but it's really, I don't feel the need to sit and talk about myself all the time, because this is not really about me. This is about you. But I will use these near-death experiences that I had as a way to convey a message for you, so you don't have to go through this same stuff as well. So I had 4 near-death experiences in my life, and each time I was total flatline, heart stopped. I was dead and went to the other side. The last one was very different from the first 3, and I will talk about that also in a moment from now. So you're going to get an overview. I'm not going to go through each single near-death experience, but you're going to get an overview of what happened when I went to the other side. So I can tell you already, the first time I died, I was 3 years old. I drowned in a swimming pool, and I had to be in an oxygen tent for like 2 weeks after to fix my lungs. But I'm going to take the first 3 near-death experiences because they were identical in regards to what happened on the other side. They were not identical on how I died, but actually that's irrelevant. What is relevant is what happened on the other side. So let's start with the beginning. when you die, and by the way, I know death is a topic that most people are very uncomfortable with, and that they feel is very negative and very bad, and they get a lot of fear and anxiety and all these things, and which is exactly why we should look at it, because we're all gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. There's one thing we can take for granted, and that is we're all gonna die. So being scared of it is going to hinder you from actually living. And I think most of you know this already. So facing death is extremely important. Now, I faced it not voluntarily. God loves fun, right? So I kind of got pulled through this process myself, and not willingly, but I know why. It was because I could sit later in life and talk about this to other people and tell them that there's nothing to worry about. There really isn't anything to worry about with death. My biggest fear about death is the pain before dying, the physical pain. And even that, I can tell you, if you have pain and you're about to die, the spirit shuts you off at one point. You get shut off from feeling the physical pain, and then you're just experiencing the spiritual side of the death process, the near-death experience, or the death process. Most people, they don't have near-death, they have just death experiences. So what happens is, how many of you have experienced you're standing up from a chair so fast that everything blacks out and it just turns into tunnel vision, and maybe even totally blacking out, and then you pass out? Many of you have tried this, right? In fact, we are doing this every night when we go to bed to sleep. What happens is all of us, we're experts in sleep. So what we do is we put our head on the pillow, close our eyes, and then there's this falling in, like there's this relaxation. You relax and you fall in, right? And then you cease to exist, meaning you are not conscious and aware anymore. You become unconscious, and then something else takes over, right? What takes over is you go into deep sleep, and then you start dreaming, etc., blah, 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 blah. So when you die, it's very similar. It's very similar. It's kind of like you have this eye. Imagine you have this eye right now, like you have eyes that are looking right now. And these eyes shut down, but then there is something else that is seeing. So by shutting down these eyes, another eye that has been awake and aware and open all the time is something you just become conscious of after, because now you're not distracted by these physical eyes anymore. Does it make sense? So basically you're shutting down, and because of that, everything else, which it has been there the whole time, but now you become aware of it, like dramatically much more aware of it. That's the only thing that happens when you die. You drop the body, you drop that duality mind consciousness, you drop the identity, it falls in, and then what remains is this big eye of awareness. This is also why meditation is the single most traditional spiritual practice across all traditions, because meditation is a willingness to consciously dying. That is meditation. Meditation is you sit still and you do nothing. There's no one meditating. There's absolute 0 point, nothing happening. You're letting go of the body. The body will take care of itself. The mind quiets down, it sinks in, becomes quiet. And then in that place of letting go, there's something else opening up. And that is meditation. So meditation and going to sleep is very similar to the death process. It's the only difference is after dying, you suddenly have no body. There's not a physical body. But you're used to this as well in the middle of the night. When you go to sleep, you fall asleep and you start dreaming. You don't have a body at that time. Everything you're dreaming, you're doing it without a body. You're doing it in a dream body. Now, the thing is, you're already dreaming right now. You're actually asleep, dreaming right now. And this is the dream body. And this is the dream character. And it's living out its thing. When you fall asleep, you drop the body, you drop this dream character, but then you're playing another character inside the dreams. You are that character. That dream is no more real or unreal than the dream character you're playing right now. Now, this becomes very clear when you have a death experience, because you're waking up from the dream. When you're waking up from that dream, you see that it was just a character and a dream character. Now, time and space operates differently when you wake up from that dream. And you realize your whole lifetime here is like this, blink of an eye. You can see that the whole lifetime was just a figment of your imagination, and you imagined time as well. So by imagining this time, you get born, you grow older, and you get old, and then you die. But actually what it was really is just the beginning and middle and an end of a dream that you had. And you create all these illusions. You're creating all this. You create all this. Because you are the dreamer. And who is the dreamer? It's God. It's divine. It's divinity. It's the cosmic consciousness, individualizing itself into small dream characters. So when I died, the light got shut down, and then the light came back, but it was a different light. It's this light that is all aware of allness. Now, in one of my near-death experiences, not the first one, but the second one, when I died, I was standing outside my body, and I could see, I had a girlfriend back then, and she was freaking out, trying to get me back to life, the body. And I was looking from outside, and I was like, oh, I must have died. Oh, I died. And I had no attachments to the life, to the body. I totally could see that this is a dream. And then I could see there's a whole another world of the first world I saw was astral reality, a lot of colors, shapes, forms, beings, very beautiful. And then I was thinking, now that I'm dead and I have no body and all that stuff, but I'm still here. So I imagined that whole life, but now I'm in this world. And then I was like, I'm imagining this too. And then it's kind of like, it's like a light switched on, and I woke up from that dream too. So I woke up from the astral realm. I woke up from that too. And I was in another realm, much more, very beautiful, full of love, much bigger, much more etheric, energetic. And then there was beings there too, very big beings, beautiful beings. And I was thinking, I'm dreaming this too. And then I woke up from that level too. And then I woke up from that level, and I woke up from level to level to level. And each time I came into a new level, I was connecting to these beings, and I could see that these beings, at the higher the level we went, the more they themselves were conscious and aware of that they're just dreaming. That they know that they're just dreaming, and they're dreaming these characters on these levels of existence. So I am convinced, when you see plasma ships and UFOs out there, if you see energy beings, they are existing on higher levels, higher dimensions, higher densities. I am convinced these beings, they know that they're dreaming and that they are just having a dream character experience. Because that's what was my experience on these higher levels of existence. And so I kept on moving through this until, and just so you know, every time you move through a layer, the sense of self that you have is dissolving more. The identity is getting less and less gross and dense. It's much less. And so at one point I ended up back with Source, and there was no Joshua there to experience it. There was no person, there was no entity, being, anything to have a reference. It's all one. Everything is light, everything is one, and there's nothing except that. And so there is no two. And then an impulse happened, and I don't know, I can't explain what that is, but an impulse happened that pulled down through all these layers, back, and down. And when I came to, I don't think it was the fourth, I think it was the fifth dimensional plane. That's just my intuition, but I can't tell you because I didn't count. There was not, it's not like counting and identifications and all that stuff. But on that level, I merged with a being that has been following me for a long time. And it's kind of like we have souls and oversouls and all that stuff. And the moment I merged with this being, I knew everything that he or she or it knew. And I instantly got a download. Like instantly, a lot of information became available. And so I just knew many things. And I spent my entire life trying to understand this download, this information. Not disinformation, but this information. Now, one of the pieces of this information is relevant for you guys too. I was shown how we are living in a special time on this planet. In this incarnation, in this lifetime, something big is about to happen. And I saw it as the sun giving a huge flash, pulse. And by the way, I spoke about this since I was a kid. I know a lot of stuff is out there on the internet now about all this stuff, which for me is telling me that I'm not just making all this up, because a lot of people are catching up on this information. And you have to remember, I grew up in Denmark in the 70s, 80s. Nobody meditated. Yoga was not happening. Spirituality was, I mean, we had some crazy elderly women reading tarot cards and doing astrology, and that was it. You know, for us, it was just voodoo and what is it called? Woo-woo, right? So all this information was in me, and I didn't have anybody to talk to about all this. And so for many years, I was thinking I'm just crazy and all that stuff. But if you look at the world now, I can see there's millions of people catching up on this stuff. Which is telling me that all this is very real, and we are going to have this experience, all of us. I've seen the signs, it's happening. And so anyway, what I saw on the other side, the first time I saw it was in the 70s, was the solar flash. They call it solar kill shot now, in all directions at the same time. And energy will go to the earth and come in through the poles, because the earth is like, there's a lot of huge caverns inside the earth. It's a honeycomb earth. Energy through the poles into the center, and coming out from the center into through the whole planet and to the surface, and now into the cosmos. And I saw human beings getting this energy running through their system from above and from below at the same time. Like this Michelangelo painting where God reaches out for man and man reaches out for God. And when that happened, depending on who you are and where you're at in your spiritual life, this is going to be an orgasmic, loving, beautiful, awesome experience of awakening. Or it's going to be very painful, and it will fry your nervous system and you will die. And so it depends on, it's the same energy, but you will perceive it differently. Now, many of you have gone outside and tried to look at the sun, and you can hardly look at it because the light is so strong. Now, this is the kind of love that is going to come to this planet. It's going to be very strong. It's love, but love is actually more scary for most people than fear is, or hate, or darkness. So there's going to be a lot of love coming to the planet, and that will put it up in such a way that there's going to be a lot of people who can't handle that energy, and they will perish, they will die, and they are going to reincarnate on another planet, 3D reality, where they have to learn their dualistic lessons in 3D reality, or they will reincarnate again here on Earth in the aftermath of what's going to happen, and go through trials and tribulations in 3D reality. Because all souls are on a journey, and when we are ready, we will ascend, we will graduate. But not until then. How many times you have to die and get incarnated is up to you, the soul, your soul's journey, right? So, and then there is others who are now ready for the graduation. You're here in a 3D body right now. That means you are in 3D. I don't care what any New Age person is going to tell you that, oh, we are already in 5D or 4D or whatever D. Or they are saying, oh, I live in the 9th dimension and that's where my life is. I'm there all the time. Listen, if you have a physical body and you have a name and an ego and an identity, and you're running around here on Earth doing stuff, you're in 3D. Just like everybody else. And so you may feel very connected to higher dimensional realities, which is great, beautiful, but you're here in 3D. Why? Because you're here to learn certain things and to graduate from 3D. So if you're here, it's because you haven't graduated yet, but you will, hopefully soon. So that energy is going to come in through the planet. Now there's various forms of ascension. One is you physically die, and then you will automatically have the experience that I just had when I died. And you're going to, on a soul level, decide where you're going to incarnate again. depending on where you are at in your life lessons. And it's not up to your conscious mind right now. You can't sit and say, oh, I decide I want to do this. No, your soul on a very, so the ego, body, mind complex, the personality stuff of you do not have free will. You do not have free will. If you think you have free will, you're delusional. I'm sorry. You do not have free will. You can't control your own digestion. You can't control your heartbeat. You can't control your thoughts. If I tell you, don't think about a banana, you will think about a banana. You cannot stop breathing if you feel like you can't. There's all the chemical reactions in your body, you can't control that either. You have no control over your body. You have no control over your mind. You have no, and also a lot of things are happening in life that you didn't plan for. You didn't ask for it, but it happened anyway. Life is just playing itself out and you're not in control of it. The only part of you that has free will is your soul. And your soul have laid out this path before you that you're going to be taking. Now you can accept that on an ego level and enjoy the ride, or you can be running around kicking and screaming and resisting that. And I promise you, your life will turn into a living hell. The only freedom there is to let go and surrender for the ego. You accept the journey you're on and embrace it and learn to enjoy this ride called life. So now you know why I don't have so many listeners. This is why I don't have millions of followers. But it's the truth. So one thing is you can die and ascend. And so after death, you decide where you're going to go and what you're going to do. Or you can do what they said Jesus did. I don't know if it's true, but let's just assume it is. You die, you see the truth, you realize it's all a game, and then you decide you want to bring that dream body character with you to the higher levels of existence. So you basically go back into the body, and then you do the resurrection. That is the resurrection that Jesus did. That is another form of ascension process. Then there is the third ascension process, which we have heard of from various cultures. It's called the rainbow body. I don't know if you heard of it, but for example, when the Chinese invaded Tibet, they put the monks in prisons. And the security guards, they walked over to the prison cell, and suddenly there was nothing in the prison cell except some plastic teeth and the ropes. And I think some of them left behind nails and teeth, but the rest of their body was gone. They basically go into a deep state of meditation, and then they do the ascension process, which is the rainbow body. And a lot of ascended masters have done this individually on their own. So that's basically a way to move into the higher levels of existence, where you bring the body with you, but the body turns into pure light. So you don't bring the body with you as a physical thing like the way you experience it now. Now, these people are rare, but we have many stories from around the world where this has happened. A lot of people have also seen other people, shamans, going into trance, and you take a picture of them and they're completely transparent. You can see through them because they're moving so intensely with their body, mind, and spirit into the spirit world that they start dissolving. I have a friend, Ananda Bosman, who in front of many people was sitting in a chair and suddenly disappeared. And then he reemerged I think it was 30 minutes later or something like that. Several times he's done that, and there's witnesses for that. So this is totally possible. That's the last level of ascension, and very few people are going to be doing that on this planet. Very few people. Very few people are also going to do the resurrection. Because once you are on the other side, the point of go back and bring the body with you is not really that necessary. Most people are going to do option number one. They're just going to drop the body and ascend. Okay, so death is not the end. Ascension and death is very synonymous. And we're going to have a huge planetary ascension. Now, here is another thing I'm going to say that is very unpopular. It means we're going to have a huge planetary death. A lot of people are going to kick the bucket. And this is in the cards. This is exactly what's about to happen on Earth. So the most important thing you can do is to die before dying. What is enlightenment? What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is to wake up while in the body. So you are in the dream, but not of the dream. It is the exact same as if you dream at night a dream, and then suddenly you wake up in the dream. Now it's called lucid dreaming. You know that you're dreaming, but you keep on dreaming consciously. The big eye is opened and you're watching the world. At the same time, these two eyes, body-mind complex, is going to play its game and fulfill its role. Why? Because it has no free will anyway. I wish this message would come out to more people, because there is nothing more important on this planet right now for a human being, to focus on. It's not about the vaccines or the AI or transhumanistic agendas or the billionaires trying to kill you. All these things are distractions from the one thing that matters, and that is your own liberation, your enlightenment. And it's not your enlightenment in the sense of, it's not an enlightenment for Joshua. There is no Joshua, so he cannot be enlightened. There is no enlightened people on this planet, persons. Enlightenment is a process. It's a process that is moving the body-mind complex in this world with no identity, no story, no nothing. Even if there is a story, the body-mind complex can create the story and be involved with games and doing this and that. But that awake part is not involved. It's just pure observer. It is pure awareness. And this awareness is aware of itself. You will only find the truth of what I'm saying in silence. You're not going to find it in noise, information. So your own, I keep on saying your own, but actually, so liberation, the awakening, is more important than anything else. A person who is enlightened, awake and aware, is a person that has basically already done the ascension process, but has remained in the body. For now. And when they drop the body, nothing changes. That big eye is still the same big eye. There's just two small eyes closing, and that's it. You will be completely fearless of death in an awakened state. How easy is it to control a population that is not afraid of death, completely fearless, and who is awake and aware, who does not buy into the mind games? So the only thing that matters is the process of awakening. And you find it through silence, which is why we are doing a meditation at the end of each live event together, to finish the Sunday live event with a meditation in silence. I think it's very beautiful. I love it. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on this planet, because it's all connected. We humans are living in a living nightmare right now. We are being controlled. We are slaves. We are sheep. The freedom is an illusion. We don't have freedom. You have to pay your taxes. You have your passport. You have to, it's all control. And where is it going? More control. And now with the transhumanistic, the technology, artificial intelligence, all that stuff, it's going to get even worse. We are having a process happening on planet Earth right now that is going to turn this place into your worst nightmare. If you think we're going to make a rebellion and protest and stop the whole thing, you need to think again. I'm sorry, and this is why I'm not popular out there, because I'm going to tell you some things that you most likely don't want to hear. They own the military, police, politicians, governments, corporations. They hate you. They want to kill you. They have no regard of life on this planet. They are above the law, and the laws are made for them. I've seen the last 3 interviews, long interviews with the AI experts, professors of MIT and stuff like that, literally on the verge of crying because they can see that their children are not going to have a future. That's artificial intelligence. Then we have the sun is now getting more crazy and active. We're having volcanoes and earth changes happening. We have a species of animals, entire species dying, and we will never see them again. We have satellites in space beaming down 5G radiation, polluting every single square inch on this planet. We have more sickness and disease in the world than ever before. Our food is polluted and weaponized. So is the chemtrails, the air we breathe, and the water we drink, etc. On top of that, we're being pushed into getting vaccinated and nanotechnology inside of us, etc. Right? We are not gonna make it on this planet. So we have 2 options here. Let's imagine that no natural disasters or any sun fart will happen. Imagine the future. Your children and your children's children will live in a transhumanistic society where they don't own their own thoughts and emotions. They have 0 freedom, completely under control. On top of that, there will only be 500 million people on the planet because they don't need more people than that. And it's completely robotic, controlled, and artificially intelligence control. That's the future. The other option is the divine God intervenes and the sun does its thing, and we will have a massive planetary ascension process or death process, whatever you want to call it. That option number 2 is what is going to happen. Option number 1, let me put it this way. If you take now option number 1, after a certain period of time living like that, you're going to wish for option number 2. And we are already getting kind of close to that. So since we already know death is not the end, ascension is a real thing. When you are fearless, you will take option number 2. You're going to say, let's do this because it's a spiritual blessing. It's a graduation time. It is a way to go for exam. You're going to go for exam, and the examination will take a few seconds. And a lot of you will pass. Don't worry. A lot of you will pass. There's no big, dark, bad boogeyman sitting judging you in heavens. You are judging yourself. That's all that's going on. And most of you are good people. And yes, you're human. You're making mistakes. You've done bad things. But the deeper essence in a core of you is a good human being. So you will do the ascension, and then you're going to decide what else, what's up next. You most likely going to take a little breather on the other side, kind of a resting in this, and then say, okay, let's go in. And then you're going to do something else. But I guarantee you, if you lived in a transhumanistic aftermath of this direction that this planet wants to go with these psychopathic billionaires, you're not going to want to be there. You're not going to want to be in that experience. We don't need that. So there is a big shift coming. How many of you can feel that it's getting really close now? Just say yes if you do. Yeah, Michael, Lynn, Carol, yes. Oh, basically all of you. Yeah. You can feel it, right? Yeah. So there is be careful having that feeling of impending doom, because it's fear-based. Now, when I read the news, which I rarely do, but when I do, and when I look what's going on in the world, and I can see the direction it's going, when I feel the end is coming, I feel it's not the end. I feel a big change. It's like a shift. And it's beautiful. Think of it as and think of it as something you want to happen. Think of it not impending doom, but see it as a welcome change. Be more positive about it. I mean, here's the thing. The amount of love there is in this universe is amazing. Deep inside, on a soul level, you know what I'm talking about. And this is your true nature, and this is how you're supposed to live. This is your experience of life, normally. What you experience now on earth is what happens when you disconnect from the divine. And that is about to change. We did this disconnect. We lived there. We've been there. We've done that. We bought the t-shirt. And we're like, that was intense. Wow. Okay, enough is enough. Let's stop playing this game and wake up. And that is exactly what's about to happen. So I know it in my heart because of my near-death experiences. And, you know, it is so trippy for me. I was 3 years old the first time I was shown all this. And as I have been walking through life and time has gone by, more and more and more people are waking up to this. More and more people are seeking the spiritual. More and more people are feeling this. And I'm just sitting here asking how many of you are feeling this and all that stuff. And all of you said yes. You know, back then, I thought I was all alone. I tell you, the moment I could talk, you know what I told my parents? I said to them, something big is about to happen. Something big in this lifetime. And then I told them, by the way, I'm not your son. And my name is not, you know, back then I was having a different name. Back then, my parents called me Martin. And I told them, my name is not Martin. And you're not my parents. I'm not coming. I didn't come from here. And they were like looking at me like, what is this kid tripping on? And then I told them something big is about to happen. Something big on the whole planet. And I was so happy about it. And I didn't have the words for it. I couldn't tell them. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have the words. Now I do, but I didn't back then. What I just knew was a fantastic, huge moment. The entire universe is watching this with popcorn, remote control. They're watching this because planetary ascension is not something that happens very frequently. There's a lot of beings on the other side that is waiting for us. They're eager to meet us. You actually have parents on the other side. Because when you move into this other reality, other level of existence, you're going to feel a little bit like a little baby, because you are. And you're going to have to learn to navigate that. It's beautiful. And for those of you who have children, believe me, you don't want option number one, transhumanistic. You don't want them to experience that. We can fight the vaccines and all that stuff to a certain degree, but I mean, seriously, at one point, we can't hide anymore, right? It's coming. You don't want that world for them. You don't want that world for your children. You don't. There are things, like they say, there are things much worse than death. And actually, it's a stupid saying, because death is beautiful. And that transhumanistic future is not. So we can't even compare these two. Now, it's very important, again, for you to learn to smile and laugh at all this. You need to wake up. That is the awakening. That is the ascension. You need to die before you die. And when you die before you die, you start laughing a lot, because you start seeing the whole joke of the whole thing. It's one big circus, one big game. It's just a dream. And collectively, we're having a nightmare, and we are about to wake up from it. And when we do, we're going to be like, oh my God, that was horrible. Why did we do that? I don't know, but let's not do it again. That's going to be the story. It's going to be like that. I can tell you my own little private, when I go into very high vibration sometimes, it's very rare that I go in that high. When I do, I I visit this very high vibrational realm, which is up in the area where, because the planet, physical 3D is this size. The astral planet is this size. It's bigger, just like your physical body, and then you have etheric and aura and all that stuff. It's bigger. So on a bigger level, it's actually a bigger planet. And so the surface of the astral, where the ascended masters are hanging out, it's up around where the airplanes are flying. And I have, that's why we say God is above, by the way. But I've been there. I've been there a few times in my life. And the energy is so intense and so high. The love is so beautiful that it's difficult for a mere mortal human being to hold that frequency vibration. It's beautiful. But when I go there, there is ascended masters. There's like these enlightened beings, and they're pouring in love all the time to our plane of existence. And when I come there, it's like my brothers and sisters, they're like, oh, Josh, you're here now. Like, they don't say, call me Josh, but call me something else. But it doesn't matter. Let's just say they call me Josh. Oh, you're here, Josh. Oh, nice to see you. How is it? And I'm like, oh, it's pretty intense. It's pretty wild down here. I don't know why I did it, but it is. And so we have, a lot of hugging going on and a lot of love. And then I can't hold that energy. And the energy starts dropping, and I come back here into this. But I know where we're going, and I'm telling you, it's awesome. It's awesome. So, but you're here in a physical body now. And you came here with a purpose. You came here to hear what I just said, to recognize that you already know all this. And then you spread this to others, help others to remember as well. That is why you're here. It's just super clear to me, because I had these near-death experiences, that the only reason I'm here is for that. Everything else is just noise. And the cool thing is, millions of people out there are doing the same thing. Now, I differ compared to many others, because a lot of others, they want to give you this new age story of we're gonna make it here, and we're gonna overthrow the governments and remove the billionaires and take down the large corporations that owns everything. We're gonna demolish money and borders and all that stuff, and we're gonna create paradise on earth. And what I personally think they do is that I think they're tuning into that other world that I talk about, and then they see that for Earth here happening in 3D. I don't see that happening here in 3D. 3D is 3D, and we're here to learn lessons here. That we are doing things difficult. We're making it difficult here in 3D reality, because we're here to learn certain lessons. But we don't want to make it too crazy. And that is why there's going to be a reset now. So you want to have a planet that is difficult, but not total slave colony, right? Which is what it's turning into now. So now we reset, start all over, and we can do, but for example, Atlantis, Lemuria, and the Golden Age and all that stuff, it's all real, and it has been experienced in 3D reality. Imagine how the world will be if there is the entire population of the planet is enlightened beings. That's the Golden Age. That everybody knows the truth. They are just dreaming, that this is just a dream, and there's no real person. but we're playing this game. So if the whole planet knows this, everything will change. We will still have lessons of duality. We're still gonna deal with, an earth slide happens and half your family is gone, and stuff like that. Natural stuff. It's gonna happen, but it's from a different perspective. So there's no suffering the same way we suffer now. Only the ego can suffer. Only identity suffers. Okay, so I've been talking a lot and I haven't read any of your messages. So I want to start with reading all this and answer. If you have any questions, write them now because I'm going to go through all this. And by the way, I hope I gave you inspiration and courage and all kinds of positive things instead of, I hope we're not buying into the fear, because there's no reason for it. Carol says, so I guess you mean ordinary daily life. We have only the illusion of choices. We are choosing whether to go south or north, up and down. Yes, those choices are illusions. It seems like you are making those choices. It feels like you are making those choices, but that is not really what's happening. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Yes. Because how can you lose something that you didn't have in the first place, right? How can you surrender something that isn't real in the first place? All these spiritual dogmatic sentences are actually part of the illusion itself, but they're there to guide you towards the ultimate truth. But once you realize that truth, all this stuff doesn't make any sense anymore. Who is surrendering to whom? If there's not two, who does what? How can you surrender? Surrender is your very nature. You are making the illusion of separation so you can make the illusion of coming back to unity. But in reality, you never left. It's kind of like we went outside and now we want to go inside, but we have never left in the first place. There's no outside and inside. And so how can you surrender? Who is surrendering to what? And how can you surrender? Also means you have something to surrender, which you never had in the first place. So how is surrender possible? But for the mind, we need to use words as surrender and letting go. We need to, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. So all this is fun and games, ping pong in the skies. It's play and display of consciousness. It's playing its game. We are playing a game of hide and seek. But nobody was lost in the first place. It's the game we are playing. That is why all the spiritual New Age gurus out there, a lot of them are severely lost. It's the blind leading the blind. But they will tell you what you want to hear. They will tell you what you want to hear because they are here to please your ego and their own ego. That is what it's about. And that is the blind leading the blind. And that is also the seeker not really wanting the answers. If the truth makes you uncomfortable, and you walk away, then you're not a truth seeker. Then you are a pleasure seeker, just with a spiritual twist on it. Then you have built up a spiritual ego that functions on the same laws as the regular ego land out there. I could sit down and tell you a little pink, rosy, fluffy New Age story. And you will like it. You will enjoy it. But if it's not the truth, what good is it for? Momentarily feeling comfortable, you will still be disconnected, you'll still be lost, you'll still be separate. This is what people don't understand. This death process, this dying process, it's not a comfortable ride for the ego. And the ego is the one making all the things where it says, I prefer that, I don't prefer that. I like this, I don't like that. I want to hear this, I don't want to hear that. The ego will do anything it can to distract you, because it's its nature. And also it knows deep inside, if it actually let you go towards the light and the truth, it is the end of the ego. It's not included in this equation, and it knows it. So it's going to have its opinions, that's for sure. Spiritual maturity is paramount on this journey. If you still want more of this story, of this game, of this life, you are not tired, you're not tired, you're not done. You want more. Well, if you want more, you're going to be distracted. And it's okay. There's nothing right and wrong. It's just what it is. All I'm saying to you is something big is about to happen on this planet, and we are running out of time. And I think it's a good idea to take your spirituality a little bit serious now and just say, okay, maybe I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt for many incarnations. Maybe it's time to focus on what matters only. It's kind of, we are wrapping things up on this planet right now. We are wrapping things up. We're ready to put the luggage on our shoulders and take our go on this path together. The collective consciousness right now is preparing for ascension. We are preparing for ascension in whatever capacity and meaning that means. So, you know, it's up to each one of us where we want to go. Lynn says, but it has to, according to the age of the Kali Yuga, the eternal cycle of creation and destruction. Yes, we're going through these cycles. We're going through these cycles, and now is the end of one cycle. I feel that all is according to the divine cycle. Nothing is not divine. Totally true. Everything is God, including Bill Gates. Artificial intelligence is God. Everything is God. And God can divide itself and separate itself. And at one point it says, let's bring that back home. And so that's a cycle. It's a cycle of separation. It's a cycle of inhalation, exhalation, and then the space of emptiness in between. Now we are here, humanity is here right now, and we're just about to, we are very soon gonna see huge changes on this planet. I'm getting less and less accepting of the Kali Yuga cycle as this has happened for eternity. I am sorry, less and less afraid. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's nothing. So Lynn, you have done this many times. You may not have been called Lynn back then. You were called something else, but you have had many bodies, many incarnations. You've gone through many life cycles. You have been at the beginning of the creation of this universe, and you will be here at the end of it, and you will be at the creation of other universes. You are the breath of Brahman, the breath of God, the pulse of life, of consciousness is you, who you are. You have taken many forms, and you will take many more forms, and you will drop many forms. Many forms will ascend, and others will descend. Eventually, all come home, because it never left. It never left. This entire creation is illusion. You never went anywhere. You never did anything. When you go to bed and you sleep at night and you play this role, did you ever do anything? Did you do anything? So here's the thing. There is nothing to be afraid of. There is nothing to be afraid of. We are making this real. We are so powerful creators. We can create this sense of separation, the sense of the illusion becomes so strong. We buy into it. It's hilarious. And that is exactly how it's supposed to be. But there is a time for everything, and now is the time to wake up. Now is the time to wake up. So it's the end, which is just another beginning, but it is. I am ready for this. Good, Lou. Claire, I am with you about everything you say. I have received the same downloads. Last night at 2 a.m., I got another download and woke up and began laughing at us all and felt very connected to the human race in all we are doing through together. I am with you, Josh. Much love or love. Very awesome to hear, Claire. That's awesome. And the thing is, I know millions of people out there. This is not my dream. It is not my vision. This is a collective awakening, and it's telling its story in this process. And the story is, we are at the end right now. It is time, and it's happening. And we have nothing to be afraid of. It is beautiful. We need to embrace it. The alternative is the nightmare. The alternative, which is we will sustain life and keep ourselves alive and survive on this planet, and then we go into this futuristic, transhumanistic, robotic reality. I'm just like, I don't know about you, but that dream seems not attractive. I'm like, nah, let's drop it. Let's do the other one, the ascension into the love and the light. And we can incarnate again and again and again and again. Play this game. Claudine asked, will there be a replay available? Thank you. Yes, there will. But you will have to sign up on Patreon to see it. So I made so for those of you who are already Patreon members, I did an invitation to people on the email list to come here today to join for free. So this is a test live event. And I hope those of you who are if you're not members on Patreon, please support the work that I'm doing and sign up, because I also have to pay the bills in this human 3D reality. And so I made this invitation so people can have a direct experience of what this is about, what we're doing here. And if you like it, sign up on Patreon if you can. Yeah, I hope you will. Some of you will, some of you won't. And all the replays are in Patreon from everything. And then also there's courses on hydrogen and water and biohacking the brain and heart flow, how to live in your heart. And actually that's my pride and joy, that course. I love that. I've done a lot of that stuff. And then once in a while, I'm going to do an open invitation for a live event for everybody. But even so, I emailed 15,000 people, and 5 people replied and said they were interested. So I don't know what to do here to make this message come out into the bigger world. I think it's one of the most important things we can discuss on planet Earth right now. And but maybe people are more interested in other things. I don't know. It's just what it is. So I'm surprised about that. But please, if you can, sign up for Patreon and support my work. Rob C says, if there is so much love in the universe, how have a handful of psychopaths been able to easily dominate, control, and manipulate billions? Well, they love money and they love control more than we love our freedom. And also, there is always this game going on. This game is always going on. Was it you, Rob? You got involved with the politics of the local, on a local area, in a local sense, right? I am almost sure that you will meet egos in there. Some of them feel that they are more powerful than others and they want to control everything. And they want to manipulate and have things their way. And they are willing to manipulate many others to get what they want. It is, as it is with the ego consciousness we're in right now, it's human nature. We are doing these things. And so if you go back in history, it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. In fact, if you read ancient Sumerian clay tablets with the Enki and Enlil and all these, it's like total human being stuff. Like they're just battling for the throne and power. And so this is a pattern in at least on this planet, and it's going on. And I think the way I see it is, planet Earth is a educational facility. We are learning some hard lessons here, and we incarnate. So we incarnate in bodies down here to learn about all that stuff. And that's why it's going on. And the love is the love of evolution, of growth. And for you to find out what love is, you need to know what hate is. For you to find out what light is, you need to find out what darkness is. For you to find out what unity is, you have to create the sense of separation. For you to find out who you are, we need 2 instead of 1, because the 2 can mirror, reflect itself back to itself. If it's all 1, that means there's only 1. That's aloneness. There's not many, there's only 1. How can you experience the 1 if there's only 1? That's when I said, when in my near-death experiences, when I went back to the source, there's no experience. There's no experience. There's nothing. There's no Joshua, no nothing. There's no God and something else that God cannot even experience being God, because God is just everything. And so how can it experience that? That's why it creates universes and fractal itself up into many, so it can eat itself, experience itself, and have an argument with itself, and controlling one self, controlling the many selves, and like, and many self liberate themselves, and playing all the games, all the options, all the opportunities to explore itself out of love. Everything comes from love. We just have various levels of distortions of it. So unconscious man loves money and he's willing to kill everybody else for it. A serial killer loves his victims and he loves the feeling of control, so he will kill his victims and torture them before that, so he feels like he's in control. A billionaire loves money. A superstar Hollywood is a narcissist who loves themselves and they want to see themselves on the screen and have people worship them. So it's all coming. Then we have the religious fanatic who will go and blow himself up in some building because he loves Allah. So that's distortions of love. So love is still there, but it's just distortions. And then it's higher vibration, more clear expression is you love your wife, you love your children, you love your community, and then at the more spiritual, more evolved, you love everybody. You see the unity of all. You love everybody. You all love all life, all living beings, everything. And then because you see the unity of it, but you still see you're separated, the separation. Then on the higher dimensional planes, the love is even more profound and the unity consciousness even more profoundly expressing itself. And then at even higher dimensions, it's even more expressed, the unity consciousness and the love. And then at the end, you go to source and there is nothing there. There's nothing, no love, no fear, no nothing. That's why in the Indian philosophies, they call it the Shiva Shakti. Shiva is the void. Shakti is the female that dances and brings Shiva out from the void into the manifest. She's luring him in to creation. That's the Shiva Shakti dance. And it's not a male-female thing, but it's just we're making it into that because it's easier for us to understand. It's the void coming into manifest, which is also why, by the way, I'm so fascinated with hydrogen, because the first physical manifestation in this universe is the hydrogen molecule, which is resonating with 8 hertz frequency. Nuclear magnetic frequency is 8 hertz, which is the same frequency you will find in monks that meditate on compassionate love. So you have the love in its first manifest form in the form of hydrogen, which is all stars in the universe, which is everywhere in the universe. The universe is made out of love. It's this original manifestation, but then it vibrates down in lower and lower frequency and lower vibration. You take light and you freeze light and you now have matter. You froze matter, right? Now you have physical, and then we have all the distortions of love from there. So that is what God is doing. If you want to learn more about the hydrogen and stuff like that, there's hydrogen courses on the Patreon channel where I talk about all this. It's very powerful, very, very awesome. So I hope I answered your question. Let me see. Okay, what is the timeline for something big? So the thing is, you can't predict. Nobody can predict anything. But let me put it this way. We are not far away from the reason why I'm kind of thinking it's very close. I mean, first of all, my intuition, my heart tells me there's a lot of signs. The sun is way more active than ever before. More volcanoes, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff happening on Earth right now. On top of that, this whole thing with artificial intelligence, the singularity is very close. And when that happens, it's game over for humanity on many levels. And then what else? Yeah, I can see the signs that we don't have much time left as a free human being on Earth. It's soon over. And I know that the divine intervention will happen. There will be natural disaster. The sun will fart. The ascension process will be activated. Ascension process, I feel, is very close. I don't feel we have a lot of time left. But I can't tell you the timeline because nobody can. Nobody can. In fact, let me put it this way. If you asked me 20 years ago, I would have said, there is no way I would be sitting in 2023 talking to you like this right now. Ascension would have already happened a long time ago. So, but that obviously didn't happen. So I'm surprised we're still here. But I can see now that things are ramping up. It's ramping up like dramatic, on a very, very dramatic level. And so I don't think we have much time left. That's all I can say. Lynn says, do you think that both realities are possible? The AI world for those who choose this, and the more awake world for those who choose that? Yeah, I think so. I think just like a dream, we can choose to dream in certain directions. And some people are on a path of that AI reality. Yeah, it is. That's maybe one of these been there, done that, bought a t-shirt experiences that they need to have. So some people are, but I know a majority of humanity is going to check out from this. Lou signed up for Patreon. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Claire, the physical plane world of duality. Physical, yeah, I don't know what you wrote. I said something and then you wrote that, and I don't remember for what. Lou says, yes, it seems that they love power and money more than we love freedom. Astonishing thought. Yes, it is. It's amazing. I mean, I know a few people who are identified with their bank account, and I can see how it's driving them to do things that they don't really want to do, but they do it anyway. So, you know, you don't become a billionaire without making some sacrifices. Let me put it this way. So Rob says, but how can so many be so stupid for so long to allow this to continue? Well, since you are part of all those, and I am too, that means we are the stupid ones. The only thing we can do is to remedy this by trying to individualize our awakening, individually to wake up from this. And the more people who do, the less of our collective, how stupid we are, is happening. And so the revolution on this planet is not external. It is internal. It is just like in the Matrix, Neo, the light comes from inside and out through Agent Smith, I think he's called. This is an internal evolution. And remember, a lot of these people, stupid people, unconscious people, have chosen to do the ascension process into another 3D reality where they're going to learn continuous lessons in 3D reality, where a lot of us have graduated from that level, and we're going to incarnate in higher dimensions and have life lessons that are more conscious, more direct, and faster, if you ask me. Lou says, good question. Guessing that the power money hungry critters have been working their plan for a very long time. Oh, yeah. They've been at this for a long time. And then Lynn says something to Rob. And then Claudine says, apologies for leaving early. Please, may I have a replay, as not in a position presently to be able to sign up for Patreon. Thank you. Much love to you. Much appreciated. Claudine sent me an email and remind me, and I'll try to see if I can make an exception and send you a replay for you, okay? Okay, Rob C says, a woman I knew who was known as mother of the ashram at Ananda Ashram, about 60 miles from New York City, passed away in 2020. She considered me her second son. The memorial service was put off till last year because of the virus. I knew this person for over 40 years, but I couldn't go to the memorial service because I'm not vaccinated. So much for metaphysical enlightenment and practical stupidity. Honestly, Rob, one of the biggest punches in my spiritual face that I have had for the past year or so is the realization that some of my spiritual heroes are actually not very smart. Sadhguru thinks it's a great thing to go to the World Economic Forum and talk to all these people and agreeing with them that we need to reduce the world population because there's too many people. Dalai Lama was sitting in front of camera and telling everybody to get vaccinated while he got vaccinated on camera. You know, so I'm seeing a lot of stupidity happening with these enlightened masters. And I had a realization, and which is you can be very enlightened and awake and aware and still have a mind that is extremely stupid, not knowing what's going on. The mind will not understand what's going on. And this has been a huge realization for me. So enlightenment is no guarantee that you are informed about what is going on a practical sense on Earth. It's not a guarantee. What it is a guarantee is you die before dying, and you have awoken, and your perception of reality is completely changed. But it doesn't mean the body-mind complex that you still operate is educated in any way or form. And in many cases, it's not, because their whole focus has been around awakening only, and they didn't care about what else is going on in the world. So because of that, they are actually very ignorant. I would never go to my spiritual teacher, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and ask him about what he thinks about Klaus Schwab or Bill Gates, or whether or not I should get a vaccination, or if he thinks 5G is a good idea. I would never in a million years go and ask him about that. Why? Because he's the guru of love. He's a guru of spirituality and consciousness. He's an expert in waking people up spiritually. And he, to say it mildly, he sucks at everything else. And it's very important you make this distinction, that you see the difference, because if you don't, you're going to get very confused. So Lynn says, we have to remember that 70% here now are organic portals, as described by Bernard Gunther and others. Yes, they are hollow and empty. There's nothing going on. They lost their heart. You can actually disconnect yourself from the divine by keep on repeating to yourself that God doesn't exist and God is dead and all that stuff. If you do that nonstop, the divine spark is gonna, like, you will still have it. It's all illusion. It's all illusion. It's all because everything is God. But on a metaphysical level, you are separating yourself. So Rob says, what is the Dalai Lama bit with the kid sucking his tongue all about? Honestly, I think it's weird. I think it's totally weird what's going on. And there was a video with Teal Swans. He said that it's the culture, Tibetan culture, to do this, and he didn't do anything wrong and all that stuff. But he wrote an apology after this video, on Twitter or something. Why would he do that if he didn't do anything wrong? And also, the little boy was from India, not Tibet, so it's not a Tibetan culture thing to do that with Indian boys. So if you ask me, it's really weird, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on in regards to when you have the Kundalini awakening, because it starts with the sexual chakra and goes up. If there's distortions with that, they can have distortions regarding sexuality and stuff like that. So I think it's really weird, and I think Dalai Lama will be interesting to listen to when he talks about Buddhism and Buddha and spiritual teachings. I think he has a lot of interesting things to say, but I think, again, don't make him into something he's not. And also, he is a human being, and he definitely has something going on. That's all I can say. Sane says, isn't there an all-knowing state that is attended by true spiritual masters? That's what I thought. That's what I thought a long time ago, but I don't believe that anymore. Maybe there is, but I haven't met anyone who is like that. Let me put it this way. My teacher, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, for me, is in the highest state that I have met any teacher out there. The vibration is extremely high. But I've spoken to him in person, and I tell him stuff that he doesn't know. He didn't know what I said. Like, he didn't know these things, and I was surprised to see that he didn't know. And I'm like, don't you know everything? Like, but no, he doesn't. And so I think we need to take these spiritual masters and take them down from their pedestals and see them for what they are. They are experts in awakening and spirituality, enlightenment, and all stuff. But it doesn't mean that they know everything. They don't know everything. They have an ability to tap into the Akashic records and collect information that is not available for other normal human beings. I've seen Ravi Shankar do that. He sits like this, and he just like, and then his eyes come back, and then he just suddenly starts saying things that there's no way he could have known. So I know he's tapping into Akashic records, but I don't think he's doing that all the time and with everything. And because of that, there's a lot of things that is not known to him. And it took him 1 year before he starts saying publicly, I think the virus was man-made. And I was like, and you say that now, like, I knew this like after 2 weeks, and it took him 1 year to figure out, right? So I just know that I have had to, I mean, if the ascended master is in a physical body on this plane of existence, they have their own limitations, 100%. It's just how it is. But it doesn't make them less. They are, for me, my guru, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, is in Christ consciousness. I feel the Christ consciousness in him. I've seen the light. I feel the light. I've had mystical experiences that are out of this world. So that's why it's been so hard for me to actually embrace that experience, that he doesn't know the vaccine is bad for you. He doesn't know that the virus is man-made. Like, it took him a year to figure out. And so yeah, that's my take on it. Maybe you have a different, because you come from a different tradition with the Taoism. I don't know. I haven't met anyone yet. So until then, I will remain in that. Rob say Shunamurti seems to be the best of both worlds. Keeps his head in the clouds with his feet firmly planted on the ground. So Shunamurti, I feel, is very beautiful teacher, and he is he's not afraid of speaking the truth and giving you the bad news and stuff like that. So that's great. I'm not so sure how high a state of enlightenment, because there's very levels and degrees of enlightenment. And I don't know, I don't find him as someone who is like in very, very high levels of enlightenment. I think he's awake, but he's not like an avatar. Like he's not super ascended master avatar. Like I can tell you, being next to Ravi Shankar, and yeah, Ravi Shankar blew my mind when I was meditating with him. And I don't know if I would have this. I met a lot of people similar to Shunamurti, and they're beautiful, enlightened, awake and aware and all stuff. But there's definitely various levels of enlightenment. That is for sure. And so where he is, I think he's more like in the middle range of it. I love him and I follow him and I listen to his talks and all the stuff. And I've done that for 1.5 years or something like that. A lot of people believe that Dalai Lama has been evil for a long time. So I don't know. I don't think he's evil. I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I met Dalai Lama once in Denmark. I didn't feel anything like energetically. He seems like a nice Buddhist. That's it. But I didn't feel that I didn't feel, I mean, once you meet, for me at least, once you meet someone like Ravi Shankar, you definitely can feel the difference between someone who was born and awake. Like Ravi Shankar is an avatar. He was never asleep, meaning he never got enlightenment because he was enlightened from beginning. And so but it's different, you know. Yeah, be your own guru. You have everything inside. Find it. Yes, exactly. And any proper guru is going to tell you that. Any real guru will tell you, whatever you see in me is within you. You don't need me. And the only task a real guru has is to make you realize that. A guru is just someone who brings you from darkness to light. Do not put them on pedestals and don't try to make them into superhumans, because they are not, and they're going to disappoint you if you think. Yeah, okay. Shunamurti is very knowledgeable, but he still fights with his ego. I agree with you, Josh. I have learned a lot from him, but he's not a high being as some other masters are. Yeah, I think there is levels, various degrees. And for example, there's a lot of people who goes and becomes nobody, like nothingness, and they embrace that and they died, but they haven't done the fully blossoming into everybody in the heart. So there is a process. The whole enlightenment, I can tell you, for what you want to take it for, as you want, but my own experience of my own, because of the near-death experiences and some other things, I had various levels of awakening for myself happening, and I can see there's still ego, there's still mind, there's still identification. And then, but as the years go by, the decades are going by, I can see it's fading out, fiddling out. It's just like, and I wake up in the morning and I'm a slightly different person than before, and it's happening by itself, and it's kind of like, and I don't really notice these changes, and it's just so. But when I step outside and look at this guy here, I can see, oh, there's still lots of identity here. There's still a lot of stuff going on. So that is why I listen to people like Shunamurti, because he's awesome. I mean, he obviously walked a long path already. He has done a lot of growing and evolution. And I think people like that are beautiful. And I think they should get a lot more attention, because these are the people we should listen to, and not, your average New Age, person talking about all kinds of weird stuff that has no relevance anyway. So I think he's a rare gem. He's beautiful, and he deserves all the attention that he gets and more. And so that's my take on it. And so here's the thing also, when we get disappointed with our spiritual teachers, it's very important that we don't have expectations that they cannot live up to. And also don't make them into something they're not. And then learn to listen to their message. Don't worry about the messenger. I don't care about where he is at, Shinamurti or Dalai Lama, or what I care about is the information, like what's coming out of this person. Is like, does it resonate? Does it move something inside of me? If it moves something inside of me, I don't even care who it is. I'll just listen to it. And because I trust my own filter. I know my heart. It can discern. And so I'll just play with the information, and I'm not so focused on the person. And I recommend you to do the same. Don't focus on the person, focus on the message. And then suddenly Dalai Lama also have beautiful things to say. And so sometimes we can learn from the most weird places, the most weird people. I learn a lot from the most crazy, weird places. And I know that says more about me than the person's giving the message. It means I'm staying and remaining open. And I think that is a very important quality to have in your life. Yeah, it's a beautiful dialogue. You guys are awesome. I love hanging out with you guys. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun too. Carol says, Shinamurti is a wonderful teacher, so clear, so knowledgeable, and he reaches millions. So he's needed to wake up the folks. Yes, he is. He's doing great work on this planet. It's awesome. Lynn says, but I think actions must match the message too. If not, there is hypocrisy. For the person that gives the message, I agree. For you, that's irrelevant, because the message is the same for you, and the invitation is for you to live up to this message yourself. But for the person, if he teach something and he doesn't follow it himself at all, then he has his own demons to deal with. But that has nothing to do with you. That is not your problem. I've seen teachers who can deliver a really powerful, beautiful, high vibrational message, and then walk off the stage and then be a completely normal human being with a lot of flaws and mistakes and making lots of stupid actions. But I just can't throw out the message because of that. It's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater. No. I wanna nurture my soul with this information, and I don't care about the person. Like, honestly, I don't. And it's because if we focus on the person all the time, we're gonna get heavily disappointed on this planet. You go and show me someone who is perfect, and I'll tell you, you haven't really met that person. So that's how it is. For me, this is how I see it. This is my opinions. This is how I see it. If you see it differently, it's totally I totally understand, and it's totally fine. In a way, we all are seeking this perfection, right? And so we're trying to find it in other people around us. And it's a natural thing. It's natural we are doing that. I think it's okay. I also just think we're going to end up disappointed. And one can find messages from many places: a person, an animal, art, that one is making, nature, coincidences, etc. I don't know if you tried, but if you actually kind of internally tell yourself, to the divine, to your higher self, saying, today I am ready to receive the message from you. I want to hear from you. What is it you have to say to me today? You say that to God. You just say that to this higher self, the God. What do you want to say to me today? I am listening. Today I'm listening. I will listen and see if I can hear your voice in other people. And then you go to town and do some shopping, and you meet 10, 15 different people, and you have conversations with them. And so, let's say half of these people you don't really like, and they're irritating and all that stuff, right? And the other half is having something on their mind and they want to talk to you about it because they're in the story and they want to share the story. And you may think on a normal day that all this is a lot of irrelevant information. But if you actually consciously go in and listen to the conversations, you will hear bits and pieces in there that was messages totally for you. Totally for you. And every day God is talking to you all the time. Your higher self, God. Let's not make God outside of you because it's you, but you're talking to yourself all the time. Just like right now, I'm talking to myself. You're talking to yourself, right? I mean, if God really is omnipresent and everything is God, then what is going on right now? God is talking to itself. So with that, let's take a break. So what we do is we take a break for 20 minutes and don't turn off your Zoom. Let it sit and run. We take a break for 20 minutes and then we meet and we will do a meditation together for about 20 minutes. So don't turn off your Zoom. And in the meantime, for those of you who feel like supporting this work, please sign up for the Patreon. Thank you so much. And maybe one of you could post a link for the Patreon here in the chat. Okay, I see you in 20 minutes. Okay, we are back, ready for meditation. You ready? Good. I will be finding the online meditation timer. Let me see. Good. Okay, good. Spine straight. Eyes closed. Take a deep breath down into the stomach. And let go. And then tune into the body. And relax any tension. Use your breath. The body is like the wick of the candle, but you are the flame. The body is inside of you. Try to expand who you are, essence of who you are. Let go of the body. It will take care of itself. There is no meditator. Just silence. And slowly stretch, massage your face. How was that? Deep. Difficult to come back. Deeply refreshing. Inviting me to continue. Yes. There was a collective meditation. Yes, it was. Okay, this was great. I had fun today. I hope some of you who are new here would sign up for the Patreon. And yeah, and I'll see you on Sunday next week. And was there anything else? I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I see you in 1 week. Namaste. Love you all. Thank you.